¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Howdy, everybody. Give me that news and politics. Yes, I will. How's it going, I Like Pie? Cosmic Seeking. I'm assuming this is you, Astro. A fluffy video from a newly cloaked climate defender. I hope you had a great weekend. Missed you on Saturday and Purpur on Sunday. Yeah. Today we did. This weekend we actually decided to do some stuff because I had a friend come over, and yeah, we did some cool stuff. Hey Heat, how's it going? Howdy. Welcome everybody. Yes, I remember. Base of PJ, rating with a party of 6. Red Rust, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Howdy, everybody. Thank you so much, Base of PJ. Appreciate that. Folks, if you guys have 5 seconds. Alright, just really quickly. 5 seconds. Head on over to twitch.tv/baseofpj and go show them some support, alright? They do pretty cool stuff. I think they start about 2:30, something like that. About 2:30. So go give them a follow. Naughty Grandma resubscribing for 2 months. A happy anniversary to me. Also, today my granddaughter turns 5. Well, congratulations, Naughty Grandma. Got you on the lurk, boss. Gonna pick up the little one now. Hey, thank you so much. I try to start at 1, but yeah. 1 p.m. then, folks. 1 p.m. That is 1 p.m. Mayhem Hippie, how's it going? Appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Stony Progressive, howdy. Alright, folks, we've got plenty of stuff to go through today. Let me make sure I got my stuff going. All right, let's get this party started, yeah? I am very concerned with the flooding in Kentucky. Yeah. We've got that on cue. I guess we'll start there. Hey. Come on. Hold on, folks. Okay. I guess we'll start with that one. More flooding is expected in Kentucky. Rain was expected to douse parts of eastern Kentucky on Monday, days after dozens of people were killed in flash floods. At this point in time, the death toll officially, from what I understand, has risen to 35. Heavy rains was expected to produce more flooding across the already saturated Eastern Kentucky on Monday after days of flash floods in the area that killed at least 28 people and left dozens missing. An onslaught of rainfall since last week has soaked the soil and made it unable to absorb more. The flooding has caused mudslides and topped up streams, creeks, and rivers overflowing. Bridges have collapsed, isolating communities, and houses have been torn from their foundations. Yeah. A-Bond, how's it going? This is just another catastrophe that has been fueled by climate change. Another climate big L. That's right. That's right. And unfortunately, this one not only has cost people's homes, but as far as we know right now, there are 35 people dead. The death toll is expected to rise as search and rescue operations resume on Monday. The FEMA said that 37 people were missing. Forecasters said that a cold front would drift over the eastern part of the state, generating more showers that could last into Tuesday, tomorrow. Jesus. Yikes. National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky said the effects could be severe north of Interstate 64, which passes through northern Kentucky and the city of Lexington. In some of Kentucky's eastern counties, rainfall of up to 2 inches per hour at times could cause flash flooding with runoff spilling out of overflowing waterways until about noon local time. Yeah. It is very sad. It is very sad. Another afternoon stream? Since when? Actually, very recently, Stupka. First of all, welcome back. Howdy. I hope you're doing okay. And I had to change schedules to about to 5 p.m. Eastern because of my work. Actually, not that long ago. Not that long ago. Speaking of which, folks, you may want to hit the follow button. On Wednesday, we are having the one, the only, the Beccasphere come on and doing a collaboration stream on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that Wednesday, August 3rd. So make sure you hit the follow button, do the YouTubes, do the social media so you don't miss that. 5 p.m. Wednesday, August 13th. August 3rd. Jesus. Almost gave you the wrong date there. August 3rd, folks. August 3rd. Don't listen to me. Stupka resubscribing. Here is the thing. Indeed. Indeed. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Stupka. 11 months of pure awesomeness. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mark your calendars, folks. August 3rd. Alright, folks. We've got plenty of climate news. And we've got the climate recap that we have to go over. All right, folks. Let's talk about this. Veterans robbed of life-saving burn pit bill that have a message for Republicans were not going away. After GOP lawmakers derailed a burn pit bill that would provide health care to sick and dying veterans. Thanks, GOP. More fun atmospheric info. Oh yeah, no, the never a dull moment. Maple Leaf Dragon. Never a dull moment. So the party that supposedly is caring about the troops and all that ecstatically voted against this bill. I believe there's pictures going around with the GOP fist bumping the failure of a bill that would provide healthcare to sick and dying veterans. Even if the bill passes next week, the members of the veteran community tell Rachel Sharp the delay has already cost lives. Last night, veterans, family members, and advocates camped out on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. They had been there since Thursday morning, just hours after a group of Republican lawmakers derailed the bill providing healthcare access to veterans suffering from toxic exposure to burn pits. We're not going away until we get a yes from all those senators on Monday. We're not going anywhere until it gets done. We've been here since 8 a.m. yesterday, and we were here throughout the night. No one left. No one went to take a shower. No one slept. Throughout the night, we had members of Congress and just everyday Americans who care stopping by. We had veterans standing there, standing to watch here with us, bringing us people bringing us food. Jon Stewart sent pizza. Senator Gillibrand brought us pizza. It rained. It was sort of a nice moment for veterans as there was a camaraderie together. While many lawmakers and Americans came and went, around 25 members of the veteran community didn't budge from their spot all night. Ironically, the same number of GOP senators who blindsided them during the Wednesday's vote on the SFC Heath Robinson honoring our PACT Act. It's not how Mrs. Torres, co-founder of the Burn Pits 360 and the wife of veteran Leroy Torres, expected to be spending this trip on Washington, D.C. For more than a decade, she has traveled back and forth to the Capitol, lobbying U.S. governments to take the issue of burn pits seriously. The fight was supposed to be over. Since she had gone to the Capitol along with other veteran community members to see what they all hoped would be the bill's final passage before it would land on President Biden's desk. Ms. Torres was looking forward to going to the White House to see the bill that she and so many others had fought for so long for finally to be signed into law. After all, it appeared to be a done deal. So back in June, the original proposal had 84-14 in favor of the bill, a landslide, and more than enough to bypass the filibuster nonsense. It passed, went to the House, where it got some changes, and then back to the Senate with a minor technical fix. Another vote was called, to which many believed it was procedural, as it seemed to have overwhelming support. But no, 25 Republicans just gleefully fist-bumping the failure of this bill. Seriously, what the F is wrong with these people? They're Republicans. I truly don't see how anyone not hopelessly in the GOP bubble finds this sabotage the burn pit bill at all surprising. This just needs to be called out on the right-wing media as much as possible. Oh yeah, 100%, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. The bill tanked with 55-42, 5 short of the 60 votes needed to pass. Only 8 Republican senators moved to move it forward, with 25 who voted in favor of it just 1 month ago, reversing their support after Senator Pat Toomey branded the bill a quote slush fund. Adding insult, in an added insult, Republicans were even seen celebrating the blow to the veteran community on the Senate floor. Footage from the roll call captured a group of GOP senators shaking hands on the chamber floor. Can we get a picture of that? Her husband is one of staggering 3.4 million U.S. service members and veterans estimated to have been exposed to burn pits and airborne toxins while serving their countries overseas. Nice. Way to care about the troops. Oh, here we go. Here's the video. Who knows? Probably because it was a Democratic proposal and they wanted to see it fail. I don't know. No clue. They're Republicans. And generally speaking, they tend to just screw people where possible. Spite. Yeah, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Spite sounds about right. Let's check out the video, folks.
Mr. Dance, no.
Nice. Nice. Finally, the PACT Act would give veterans like Leroy access to healthcare and disability benefits that they need. The bipartisan bill presumptively links 23 cancers, respiratory illness, and other conditions to a veteran's exposure to burn pits while on deployment overseas. After he voted against the bill on Wednesday, Mr. Toomey insisted that he does support it but wants to add an amendment on provisional spending to address what he describes as a budget gimmick that he claims could lead to $400 billion in spending to unrelated veterans. Okay, but you have to prove that. What? How? This doesn't make any sense. Another own goal for Republicans? Yeah, except this own goal has ramifications for real people like veterans. His comment has been slammed by Democrats. Veteran supporters of this, who responded in full force with highly emotional press conference on Thursday, where Senator Kirsten Gillibrand said that Republicans just sentenced veterans to death. True. And Mr. called a group of lawmakers cowards. No, they knew exactly what they were doing. They don't care. That's the problem. So the GOP F's the bill and turns around and blames the Dems for not passing it with some of the flimsiest lies ever uttered in public media. True. Echo Ruster Dragon, how's it going? Howdy, howdy. The popular TV host has slammed the GOP lawmakers on social media and gone on a media blitz to rail against his actions. Against his actions, no spending that is not related to veterans has been added to this bill. No last-minute budget gimmicks have been added to this bill. It is purely based on toxic exposure to healthcare to veterans. It is purely based on toxic exposure and healthcare to veterans, he said on Fox News on Friday. Mr. Toomey's office responded by accusing Mr. Stewart of launching, quote, false accusations and ad hominems against him when he's trying to stop the PACT Act from being used as a vehicle for $150 billion spending binge totally unrelated to veterans. How? Okay, you can tell me that this is what it's going to do, but that doesn't make it true. As far as Mr. Field is concerned, Mr. Toomey's comments about the bill are all, quote, lies, of course, because they're Republicans. Anything that comes out of his mouth right now is a lie and it's disingenuous, of course, because they're Republicans. It is the furthest thing from the truth, and the fact that he's retiring at the end of the year and is doing this is proof that he's actually a piece of shit. He is, and so are Republicans. Usually when members of Congress retire, they do the morally right thing, which is kind of ironic, and it shouldn't be that way. They should try to do the right thing always. That's why they're there, supposedly. Anyways, this man was put up to do this and was probably offered something out of it. I don't know. Could just be an asshole. Telling everyone this is a slush fund is a lie. Yes, that's GOP. Yes. Gaslight, obstruct, project. Yes. Telling everyone this is a slush fund is a lie. Telling everyone he wasn't offered a vote on his amendment is a lie. He's un-American. Yeah, remember, every accusation is just a confession. When you hear like the garbage propaganda being tossed out by the GOP at the liberals and the left and the Dems and all these people that they like to conflate together hate the troops. It's actually a confession. They're the ones that actually hate the troops. They don't care if the troops die. They don't care if veterans are out on the street. The only change made to the bill was a tiny cut to spending in the a teeny tiny cut to the spending in the bill, and the GOP just comes out with the slush fund lie. Yep, not surprised. Gaslight, obstruct, and project. Remember, folks, that's the mantra. Mr. Fuel added that it hasn't been lost on the veteran community that several of the 25 GOP lawmakers who changed their mind at the last minute are in fact veterans themselves. It doesn't matter. They're fine. They don't care. They're good. They got their best health care. And if they don't have access to that health care, they're more than wealthy enough to go get the health care that they need. They are fine. Just screw everybody else. I got mine. That's like, who had changed their minds last minute are in fact veterans themselves. That's like your buddy getting shot on the battlefield and just leaving them to die. Yeah, they don't care. Sorry. Though discussed, Mr. Field isn't exactly surprised by the week's events. As a 9/11 survivor who first lobbied the U.S. government to pass the law, now gives the first responders health care for illness and injury sustained on Ground Zero. He's seen it before. That's true. That's true. This is eerily similar to what happened when we experienced with the 9/11 bill. This week we were caught off guard and thought we had a victory, but we were bamboozled. It's the Republican Party, folks. I've seen this before, and we're not reacting, we're responding. We're going to keep the pressure up until Monday when another vote is called. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said that we will give our Republican friends another chance to pass the bill on Monday, as the clock is ticking to get it passed before summer recess. On August 5th, senators head off for a month-long break. Nice! Mr. Field's confident that it's going to get passed, as he warns, I'm not afraid to square up to a senator when lives are on the line. They have Ted Cruz and Steve Daines fist-bumping. Cancun Ted Cruz. Fist-bumping the failure of a bill that would provide health care to veterans. We have Jon Stewart telling Americans that they stabbed veterans in the back, and we have John Field, his sidekick, saying F you. We're talking about human life. People are dying when you can't put aside your political party and think like a human being that you don't deserve to be in office. True! But the veteran community says that even a week delay is too long for the veterans who are in need of life-saving healthcare access to disability benefits now. I agree. People will die waiting for this. Someone will die this weekend. That's so sad. Mr. Toomey said the GOP lawmakers holding up the bill have has veterans' blood on their hands. These veterans' blood is on their hands every day. He wastes and plays partisan politics. Someone else dies. Time is of the essence. People don't have time. Captain Rafael Barbosa's wife is here, and he has stage 4 colon cancer. A woman stopped by to bring us cookies yesterday who has stage 4 cancer related to toxic exposure. She is an Iraq war veteran, and she stopped by with her husband in tears to share her story. Another veteran suffering from burn pits killed himself while this bill's passage has rumbled on. Mrs. Torres has a strong message for Mr. Toomey. Time is of the essence. Stop the delay. Your tactics are killing veterans. Between now and Monday's vote, she and other members of the veteran community will continue to stage their sit-in outside the nation's capital. Ooh, major typo. Shame on you, Independent. Mr. Stewart, Mr. Field, and other advocates will drum up attention in the media. Veteran groups will hold rallies to amplify the message and urge Americans to lobby lawmakers to act. That would be on the Republican Party. As Ms. Torres said, we're letting Americans know you elected these people, and this is what they're doing to veterans. True. This is true. Remember, this is the party of pro-life. This is the party of pro-life and support the troops and whatnot. Yep. Alright, let's switch gears for a second here. The SEC charges 11 people in alleged 300 million crypto Ponzi scheme. No way! Shocker. Yeah, pro end of life. There you go. So pro-life, they'll kill you for it. So, surprise, surprise. Surprise Pikachu face. The SEC charges 11 people in an alleged 300 million crypto Ponzi scheme. The Securities and Exchange Commission on Monday filed a civil complaint charging 11 people for their roles in creating and promoting an allegedly fraudulent crypto-focused pyramid scheme that raised more than 300 million from investors. The scheme, called Forsage, has claimed to be a decentralized smart contract platform, and it allowed millions of retail investors to enter into transactions via smart contracts that operated on Ethereum, Tron, and Binance blockchains. But under the hood, the SEC alleges that for more than 2 years, the setup functioned like a standard pyramid scheme in which investors earned profits by recruiting others into the operation. Yeah, an MLM scheme. No way. Yeah, this is why crypto needs to be either regulated, or there definitely something has to be done. No doubt about it. In the SEC's formal formal complaint, Wall Street's top watchdog calls Forsage a textbook pyramid and Ponzi scheme in which Forsage aggressively promotes its smart contracts through online promotions and new investment platforms, while all the while not selling any actual consumable product. The complaint goes on to say that the primary way for investors to make money from Forsage was to recruit others into the scheme. Classic. In a statement, the SEC added that Forsage operated like a typical Ponzi structure, wherein it allegedly used assets from new investors to pay earlier ones. As the complaint alleges, Forsage is a fraudulent pyramid scheme launched on a massive scale and aggressively marketed to investors, wrote Caroline Welshans, acting chief of the SEC's Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit. Fraudsters cannot circumvent the federal security laws by focusing their schemes on smart contracts and blockchains. Forsage, through its support platform, declined to offer a method for contacting the company and did not offer comment. Jeez. Yeah, that's kind of a massive red flag there. Forsage was launched in January of 2020, and regulators around the world had tried a couple of different times to shut it down since then. Cease and desist actions were brought against Forsage, first in September of 2020 by the Securities and Exchange Commission of the Philippines, and later in March of 2021 by the Montana Commissioner of Securities and Insurance. Despite this, defendants allegedly continued to promote the scheme while denying the claims in several YouTube videos and by other means. Oh, CoffeeZilla? Did CoffeeZilla expose these people? Two of the defendants, both whom did not admit or deny the allegations, agreed to settle the charges subject to court approval. Geez, they probably made so much out of these suckers that they they'll just take the L. They'll just pay the fee and be done with it and keep the profits, I bet. I'm actually curious, did CoffeeZilla expose these people? No, I don't see anything. You're reading off of very left-biased media. CNBC? Really? You okay, buddy? Four of the 11 individuals charged by the SEC are founders of Forsage. Their current whereabouts are unknown, but they were last known to be living in Russia, the Republic of Georgia, and Indonesia. The SEC has also charged three US-based promoters who endorsed Forsage on their social media platforms. They were not named in the commission's release. Uh-oh. CNBC throughout history has tendencies to be left on most issues. You can Google this if you want. You just said very left-biased media. Most of it is center left. Most of it is center left. And furthermore, and what part of this was a lie? What part of this are you disputing? What part of this story is a problem here? Four Stage was launched in 2020. Oh yes, we did this year. Nothing against CNBC, but when I'm genuinely doing research, you should be going to accredited, non-biased website. What is wrong with this story? What part of this isn't true? Because the implication is you disagree with the story? What part of it isn't true? Because you shouldn't be swayed by political views? What? Are you okay? What? Because you shouldn't be swayed by political views if you want actual genuine information. What part of this is wrong? What part of 11 people were charged in a Ponzi scheme is wrong? Are you disputing the facts of this story? Like, hello? Right. Everything technically has a bias and doesn't make it any less accurate in this case. Yeah, that's exactly correct, Progressive B. I'm asking, what is the dispute here? If you're gonna make a statement or a claim, you should probably come prepared, right? You should probably come prepared. Anyways, no surprises here. Yet another crypto scheme. Wow, no way. Maybe they should do something about this. I looked at CoffeeZilla's channel, and literally 11 minutes ago, I joined Andrew Tate's cult, and it was worse than I thought. Oh my goodness, I almost want to see this video. I have to see this video. I have to see this video. It's funny, we were talking about this this clown Andrew Tate. I want to say like maybe a day ago, 2 days ago at most. Oh man. I gotta see this. I gotta see this. If you don't know who CoffeeZilla is, they do fantastic exposés on numerous schemes, most of them involving crypto schemes. There's also been very strange things going on in the NFT market. I don't know. I don't trust any of it. Sorry. I just don't trust like NFTs like as a concept is already pretty sus. I don't know. The whole thing is very suspect cosmic seeking. Like the whole thing. I prefer not to see adult males relentlessly whining on YouTube. Yeah, so is crypto, that's right. No, this is an expose. This is gonna be fun. Maple Leaf, I promise. This is already like CoffeeZilla is freaking on point. Okay. All right, let's see.
Today I'm getting a PhD
Jesus
from
Christ. Oh my god. No, stop trying to sell me this.
Hustler University, also known as Hustlerversity by those of us with the grind set. It was created by this guy.
I'm top two. You think you're smart? I bought this coin and it's going up. You could have bought any coin and it went up in the last year. The Matrix was broken. Hustlers University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet for people who are trying to escape the Matrix. Become Hustlers University. Welcome to the metaverse. Inject it into your brain. You can skip university, you can buy my program, and I guarantee you, you will know everything you need to know. Have you ever seen a college professor with an S63 and a McLaren and a Lambo?
Yeah. This is a cult. This is a cult, and this is a way to fleece insecure, generally speaking, young men, for lack of a better term, of the incel types. That's what this guy's bread and butter is built. Just to be clear.
And an Aston Martin standing next to a Porsche. No, you've never seen any of this. I know how to make cash.
Now, if you're wondering why I'm enrolling in a college that looks like it was started by the son of Mr. Worldwide, it's actually quite simple. Hustleversity was started by Andrew Tate, a guy that basically no one knew about until 6 months ago, and is now somehow more searched than Mr. Beast, Kanye West, or most shocking of all, even the Island Boys, who I thought would have a career forever. But such are the tides of fame, I suppose. And I guess the real question is, how did this happen and why? Well, Andrew attributes his meteoric success to a change in business strategy.
I put together a particular strategy about 6 months ago because I decided to step up my overall exposure because of a new product I launched. I run an online school that teaches people how to make money online. I changed my approach towards social media, and I ended up absolutely everywhere.
Now, if you're wondering what business strategy that is, or even what business this guy's in, turns out he's one of these male success gurus.
Yeah, i.e. Oh my god, that's so cringe. That's so cringe. Like, the concept of that is so cringe. Why? Why? This is all very disturbing. Oh yeah, 100%. The fact that people give money to this guy is just wild. And like part of his spiel as to why he's gotten so popular is because part of the Hustlers University thing is for the people that are they're supposed to actually post videos and clips of him in their own YouTube channels. So you would create your own YouTube channel and you would start he would basically force or I guess encourage people to create their own YouTube clip channel for him, essentially. That's how this happened, I'm sure.
Will be your surrogate father essentially for a fee.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a predator for, I mean, like, literally. I think he's been engaged in some, allegedly less than legal stuff. And, yeah. He also preys on like the young minds of essentially young men, the incel types. Left flank vets coming in hot with a massive rate of 174. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. Oh yeah, 100% simulacra. It is cultism, 100%. Baron of Funk, how's it going? Seraph Dragon, Baron of Funk, thank you for the follow. Folks, if you don't know, or this is your first time ever being on this channel, we are A Difficult Truth. We do the news, we do the politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We also generally try to do a weekend stream, Sunday noon Eastern Time for Catter Day. There's still the promise of kitty cats on stream on Sundays. Chai Bureaucrat with the tier 1 sub for 23 months. Jesus, Chai, almost 2 years. Thank you to all the wonderful new folks. If you hit the follow button, you do get 5 free emotes, including Makita the cat. How could you say no to that, yeah? Let me do a quick thank you. Jay for now. Elephants are afraid of bees. Logano, Baron of Funk, Seraph Dragon, thank you for the follows. Coffeehead, thank you for the follow. Chai, 23 months. One more and you make 2 years. 2 freaking years. That is wild. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And welcome, buddy. Folks, if you have a minute and you, for some reason, don't know who Left Flank Vets is, A, you should, and B, why don't you head on over to twitch.tv/leftflankvets. Go show them some love. Usually what happens is we hang out at the Majority Report during the afternoon, and then we head on over to Left Flank Vets. That's usually how it goes. Tia Lama, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. That's twitch.tv /Left Flank Vets. I get flown out to live stream debate you at 2 years, right? Yeah. You can debate me live on the 24th. Okay, on the 24th, you get to debate me one-on-one live. Thank you for the follow, Jesse James. I've seen you in multiple channels, in multiple chats. How's it going? I pocket unfollowed. No. Why? Can we make Dogecoin go up? Nah. No, all cryptos. Yeah. Is that a Bernie Sanders Funko Pop? It is indeed a Bernie Sanders Funko Pop. Yes. It is. So we're going over a CoffeeZilla video. We're going over a CoffeeZilla video exposing Andrew Tate. So, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, I think the best word to describe him, somebody mentioned it earlier. He's definitely got like Predator vibes. He's definitely got Predator vibes. He's incredibly cringe and definitely preys on young men of the incel types, basically. That is the vibe I get. And judging by the clips that I have seen of him, he's incredibly misogynistic. And his behavior towards women is incredibly disgusting, and he just basically doesn't see them as people, as far as I can see. It looks like a crab brave too. Yeah, yeah, you're getting all the Easter eggs. There's a little crab brave model as well. So you guys came in at the perfect time, okay? We're starting this video maybe 30 seconds in. Yeah, he's Donald Trump if he started like 50 years Younger, exactly. CoffeeZilla has a nice background picture. Well, I mean, he exposes a lot of crypto schemes, but sure.
And the program he runs is called Hustleversity, where he teaches you how to make fast money.
Okay, so yeah, we're at this yeah, like Gamergate era pickup artist, but like not, right? Like no one should ever follow his advice under any circumstances at all, okay? And anybody who tells you there is such a thing as fast money, they're selling you something. There's no such thing, okay?
If you'll only pay $50 a month.
Only $50. This is a bigger ripoff than freaking Steven Crowder's Mug Club.
And one of these fast money methods turns out to be selling Hustleversity to new people by posting clips of him.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And because of this, it kind of created this pyramid scheme where there was a flood of TikTok videos and biased reviews saying that Andrew Tate is the one true savior that will save you from poverty. He's basically Morpheus from the Matrix, and that's not even me calling him that. He calls himself that.
Oh, we can't see. Oh, sorry. Hold on, folks. I knew that.
Morpheus along. We are living inside of the Matrix, and I am Morpheus.
He says he wants to wake you from your mental prisons, all by selling you a program that sounds like what high school dropouts used to put as their education status on Facebook. Attended the School of Hard Knocks and graduated Hustleversity with a PhD. Wait, you're a doctor? No, that's the pimping hose degree, which is something, by the way, I didn't make up. It's a course that Andrew Tate himself sells. But I don't think you want to take advice from someone who's in the middle of a human investigation.
Yeah. So, I like pie. I believe you were the one that says it. You were the one that said it. He isn't like a predator. He isn't like a predator. Holy yikes. I did not know this until right now. He is actually under investigation for human trafficking. He's actually under investigation for human trafficking. He exposes scammers. Yeah, CoffeeZilla exposes Bitcoin schemes, pyramid schemes. Yes, hello, I'm here. Hi. In Hungary. Okay, gotcha. Who's this? No one you should ever listen to. Andrew Tate. Yeah, he actually is under current investigation for doing exactly what you're saying. I like pie. Yeah. He's literally under investigation for human trafficking. Yeah. Okay, it's worse than I thought, folks. It's worse than I thought.
And that's not even to mention accusations of beating women, or him allegedly admitting that one of his businesses was, quote, a total scam. But none of this has stopped over 100,000 people from signing up for Hustleversity.
Fennec Bard, thank you for the follow.
Which at $50 a month nets him $5 million a month, despite it being a repackaged version of the same male guru grift that we've seen over 100 times, like Tom Vu, John Crestani, Dan Locke, Grant Cardone. Need I go on? What's the difference with Tate? See, despite his alleged criminality, toxicity, psychopathy, Andrew does have one undeniable skill that seems to be responsible for most or all of his success so far. He's just really entertaining.
I hate everyone equally. Don't come at me and call me sexist or racist or any of these things. I hate everyone. I don't care if you're black, white, straight, gay, man, and woman. I hate you anyway. I do know how to administer CPR. However, I will not administer CPR unless you're a hot female. If you're some fat dude and you just had a heart attack and I don't really know you.
Is that lady billing you and you back and rearrange your bones? Why is it being massaging for a full hour straight, bro?
I have a lot of muscle. It's painful to carry it around. It's a 2-hour massage.
You see, guys,
Jesus.
modern influencers are slowly learning that we live in a post-consequence world, with people like Jake Paul running around just serially scamming people and nothing happening to them.
That's right.
People are starting to
Jake
realize.
Paul promoted some scheme too. Jesus. He doesn't look like a dick. He is a complete asshole. He's a complete asshole who should never, ever, 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 under no circumstances, listen to.
Realize that the only real currency is attention.
Yes,
Like the worst thing that's going to happen
Coffeezilla is 100% correct. The currency here is attention. Yes.
to you is not that you go to jail. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is you become irrelevant.
Yes.
And this is what separates Andrew Tate from a lot of the fake
Literally
news
and
that come out of the
figuratively.
past and makes him much more effective and maybe dangerous at what he does. And in that way, he's got more in common with someone like Alex Jones
We're gonna beat your ass. You just get that through your stinking traitorous heads.
than he does with someone like Dan Locke or Grant Cardone. Both
I agree.
Jones and Tate operate sort of on this playbook where entertainment is king. They say a bunch of outlandish statements that builds attention, and then once they're the crazy guy, all they have to do is say a few basic things that everyone agrees with, and then their audience suddenly thinks they're a genius. I mean,
Oh,
everyone has
100%.
seen this with Alex Jones.
100%.
Right? You have modern philosopher Joe Rogan.
Modern
seemingly saying that he
philosopher Joe
predicts
Rogan. Oh man, that's great. Oh man, I forgot how good Coffeezilla was. Holy shit. I forgot how good Coffeezilla was.
everything,
Alex is right about far more than he's wrong.
when in reality, Alex Jones is predicting everything sort of all the time. So of course he's going to be right some of the time. And it's sort of the same with Tate. He says so much. Like in one segment, he'll say something outlandish like men should be able to cheat on women, but it doesn't work the other way around because that's disgusting.
Let's not pretend that male loyalty and female loyalty are the same thing.
But loyalty is loyalty.
But they're not the same thing, are they?
I sub to Coffeezilla, you should. 100%.
However, I would not see my infidelity as nearly anywhere near even 1% as disgusting as female infidelity.
And he knows that's going to get him clicks and piss people off. But then we'll say in a segment right after, oh, I believe in true love between a man and a woman. I believe there should be more love.
I think relationships are a beautiful thing. I think that the synergy between men and women are a beautiful thing. If
You
they
missed your
are
vocation. What?
correctly collaborated. I think that that's what makes society function. I think that's what makes the world function. I think that men and women falling in love and having children and having families are very, very beautiful things.
Well, who doesn't agree with that? And he'll talk to like men's issues. He'll talk about how lonely men are.
Most men are absolutely and utterly invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men because I dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even f***ing exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to.
And so this
Wait. Why are you sending 10,000 DMs? What? Who does that?
makes it so that the many people who are trying to say, Andrew's just crazy, they don't see the full con that he's running because the crazy is only half of the game. Because eventually people hear the other half, the basic stuff that's obvious, and go, well, he's not totally crazy. And people just
the crazy is
kind of go
just
down the
kind of
Tate
to sell
rabbit
the
hole where they
clicks,
think,
right?
you know, maybe I can leave the Matrix and get girls, jets, and Bugattis. Maybe I just need to become financially free. How do I do it? Who's looking out for me? And that's where Hustleversity enters the picture.
There you go. There's the scam. That's called harassment and stalking. Also spam. Yeah, exactly, Bub Dragon. Who does that? Only Mitch Hedberg could get away with wearing sunglasses inside. I don't know, Punch Drunk Pulpit.
And look, I know we just covered a lot, right? But to understand this next part, to
Who's
understand
Mitch Hedberg? Hold on, time out.
it-
Who's Mitch Hedberg? Oh. Yeah, I remember him now. Yeah. He'll find something good. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh. I've seen this guy before. I've seen this guy before.
It requires a deep understanding of Andrew Tate's appeal. So we can see why Hustleversity is on the one hand so popular, despite being so bad. Because otherwise, this whole video is anticlimactic and confusing. Because when I first joined Hustleversity, I thought it's gotta be different, right? To have this many people paying every month, they have to have things that you just can't learn for free, right? Wrong. Once again, I'm disappointed because I joined this month and have been going through the classes, which is basically all of the same boring topics all of these guys teach about making money. It's all the most surface level stuff. He assigns a so-called professor to each skill, and all of this takes place inside of Discord servers. And so in these chat rooms where your instructors have a fraction of the charisma of Tate, you're supposed to commit yourself to these skill sets, which are super surface level because, of course, this all appeals to the lowest common denominator men who think answers can come from TikTok videos.
Right.
And this is where it starts to hit you as you're scrolling through Discord threads, that this kind of was all a big bait and switch. I mean, think about it. You've been told you're going to escape the matrix. You're going to take the red pill. But what you end up doing in this course is sort of learning how to run an Amazon side hustle for Jeff Bezos. Like, no offense, you're not breaking the matrix. You work for the richest guy in the world. Like, imagine Morpheus gives Neo the red pill and says, hey, have you ever day traded before? It doesn't stop there either. Like, you've been told you're going to be rich, right?
I guarantee you will make money with this system. Hold on tight. We're about to get rich.
But Hustlers University sort of changes the rules and definitions once you're inside. Like, they have this cash quadrant of time and cash where you're either time poor or cash poor, time rich, cash poor, cash rich, time poor. You get the idea. And what they define cash rich as is very telling. They define it as having $5,000, which by that definition, guys, I'm proud to say I'm cash rich. Now, guys, look, having $5,000 is great, but you ain't rich, right? The lifestyle we've been sold on here is exotic Bugattis, not extra Starbucks biscottis. I mean, am I crazy here? Like, I feel like most people who joined this Discord want olive Lamborghinis, and they're sort of getting Olive Garden fettuccine. And this weird disconnect is everywhere, where Andrew Tate is practically screaming how great Hustlers University is on the one hand.
Hustlers University is the greatest thing that exists on the face of the planet for people who are trying to escape the matrix.
And yet, if you look at their own success screenshots that they provide, their students are getting at best like very part-time income. Like, their screenshots of $400 a month, maybe $2,000 a month. And those are the examples they chose, which I'm not knocking the people who are doing this, like, good for them. But unless you consider being cash rich, having $5,000 total in your bank account, then this course doesn't seem to be getting people rich.
Yeah, because it's a scam. That's what it is. And furthermore, I mean, I don't think you need Andrew Tate to teach you how to do all of this. I'm rich. Neat. Nice. Round of applause for Punch Drunk Pulpit.
It just teaches lost guys extremely basic.
And he didn't even have to enroll in Hustlers University. Look at that.
Skills that are free to learn, but charges them $50 a month for it so they can feel like they're escaping the matrix by working for Jeff Bezos. And this all brings us kind of back to the real reason for the success of Hustlers University, which is, of course, Tate himself. But the irony is that once you join the university, you barely see Tate at all. He claims to be teaching the secrets to modern wealth creation, but the reality is, from what I saw, he was too busy marketing to actually be present in the Discord. And instead, you just had all these random people teaching you like e-commerce or freelancing or copywriting and investing. And this is kind of one of the reasons that I struggled to get good screenshots to show you guys from inside the course, because it was so boring and bland. And that's why I decided to finally cancel my plans to become cash rich.
Damn. For shame. I'm about to go buy an obscene amount of Starbucks and avocado toast. Yeah, you gotta have the avocado toast, okay?
And that's when I found out about the last trick Tate uses to get you to stay.
Anyone who messes this up, annoys a professor, doesn't renew their subscription, their card cancels, anything stupid, then you're going to regret it for a very long time because there's simply nowhere else to go.
That's right. They tell you there's nowhere else to go besides Hustlers University. This
Right. So that's a cult. That is a big red flag. That is a cult.
is the only place where you're going to learn not to be broke. And even the people who want to be part of it and simply don't have the money, Tate has told them that there's no second chances. They're going to go back in the Matrix if they miss a single payment.
I had unsubscribed to get my mother a birthday present, but I resubscribed the next month. I don't believe that. I don't believe you. And I also think if you were a member of Hustlers University for a month and you didn't make enough money to buy your mother a birthday present, you f***ed up. So you're probably going to end up kicked out.
Like, their two responses are, that's not true, and even if it is, it's your fault anyways, which I find amazing. It couldn't be the program, right, guys?
Amazing. Basically, worship me or go to hell. That's right. It's a what is it? Heads I win, tails you lose kind of deal.
And you have to understand that for the people actually in the course, they're like deathly afraid of missing a payment because they've been told that if they do, guess where they're going? That's right, straight back in the Matrix. In jail, they call it.
Right,
You'll see
straight
we
to
have
hell.
People in jail. So people who don't renew, we don't kick you out. We put you in the jail and you sit there in your cell and you have no access to the money-making information. And we just flood you with all the endless wins. Every time someone wins, we show you.
I mean, Andrew Tate hasn't reinvented anything. He's just doing it more successfully than a lot of fake gurus have in a while. But the result is the same as ever, where the real person getting rich, truly rich,
Is him. Do you listen to Matt Dillahunty? I have no idea who that is.
is Andrew Tate.
You're broke! You're f***ing poor!
Yeah. That was a good meme. And that was a freaking good meme. Always, 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 always appreciate the good work from CoffeeZilla. The only explanation I see of why people would go for this is because they're so desperate to have money that they'll believe anything. The stuff has scam all over it. A bit of stench a mile away. Yeah, 100%. This is a scam. This is 100% a scam. Oh, the heads I win, tails you lose is a thing he says a lot, and I hadn't heard it anywhere else. Gotcha. Yeah, I have no idea. That's just a saying I've adopted or I've learned at some point in my life. And it applies here. So I think that was a good good piggyback. Sad that the other person was not able to tell us what was wrong with this story. Unfortunate. Andrew Tate is a 2022 version of 2016 Jake Paul. Yeah. Anyways, beware of scammers, okay? That's true. Lots of dumb and naive people. So how many crypto Ponzi schemes have to happen before we realize what a scam this might be? This can potentially be. Or how problematic it can potentially be. Yeah, that's right. Kit Boga. Kit Boga is freaking hilarious. Kit Boga is hilarious. This was really aggressive fire behavior. Over 100 homes destroyed as the Oak Fire tears through Mariposa County. Burning over 9 days, the Oak Fire has now destroyed over 160 structures, most of which are homes. Containment surpassing 50% has now allowed CAL FIRE damage inspection teams to the chance to assess the thousands of properties in the fire's path. The Oak Fire has burned over 19,200 acres with evacuation still in place. This is yet another victim, another incident of climate change. There's homes scattered all throughout here, hundreds if not thousands in this valley. The Oak Fire is currently being referred to fire crews as the first and most destructive fire in California of the year. Yep. Scammer payback is humorous too. Yep. Kitboga is the goat. Kitboga is goated on that. When it comes to dealing with scammers, Kitboga, there is no equal. Folks, if we continue down the path that we are, this is just going to be the daily news cycle. If we refuse to acknowledge what's in front of us, this is the daily news cycle. I remember a friend of mine that bought tape after tape of how to be a better salesman. It was so much BS. He would try to write to the one-man show and the guy would curse him out and say no refunds. Jeez. Yikes. That's horrible. Reason number 255,500,3,280,653 as to why the Republican Party is incompatible with democracy. That's right. So at least you realize it. Some just say that I gotta buy more to really master it. True. Phoenix, Arizona, an Arizona lawmaker endorsed by former President Trump, who attended a January 6th rally that preceded the violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, and another lawmaker who believes that the 2020 presidential election results should be overturned, are among 4 Republicans vying for the top election post in the presidential battleground state, I think. It's a trend seen in several Republican primaries this year that has led to mixed results for those who peddle conspiracy theories and promote the falsehood that widespread fraud led to Trump's defeat. Tuesday's primary elections feature similar candidates in Kansas and Washington state. Here we go, folks. Eyes open. In Kansas, voters will choose between a challenger who questions the 2020 presidential result and the incumbent Republican who believes the election was secure in his state. Imagine. Washington state open primary also has a candidate who backs Trump's unsupported claims, although that is not the toughest challenge in the Democratic incumbent faces. So far, Republican primary voters have split on whether to put election skeptics on the November ballot. Imagine even having to debate this. Imagine having to even have this conversation. Yeah. That's right, sunk cost fallacy. In June, Nevada voters selected former state lawmaker Jim Merchant, who has been repeating the false claims that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump, to face Dems in an open race for Secretary of State. But in Colorado, GOP voters rejected a local election clerk who has been appealing with Trump allies, promoting conspiracies about voting machines, and instead chose a Republican who vowed to keep politics out of elections. What? The act of an election, that's politics. What are you talking about? The retired Michigan police officer and current Arizona House member was at the Capitol and on January 6th and contends Trump lost Arizona because of rampant fraud. Sources: he backed a controversial and much criticized state Senate audit of the 2020 election result in the state's most populous county and this year, and tried to get the Republican-controlled legislature to notify Congress that Arizona wanted to decertify Biden's election win. Fincham is also suing in federal court with a leading GOP contender for Arizona governor. That's a leading contender for governorship. To block the use of vote counting machines in Arizona. The lawsuit contends that they are potentially prone to hacking. Source: and that can change votes. Source: a judge is considering whether to throw out a case. Fincham's claims come despite the lack of evidence of any widespread fraud that would have changed the results in Arizona, where Biden beat Trump by just over 10,000 votes. He maintains that fictitious ballots mirrored the results. I mean, you could say a lot of things. You can say a whole bunch of stuff, but unless you have receipts, it shouldn't be paid attention to. So for for you to say that there's no evidence, I think the media is willfully disregarding the evidence that's out there. Where? His primary competitor includes another state house member, Shauna Bolick, a Trump supporter who contends the 2020 election was deeply flawed. It's the same shit. This is the Republican Party, folks. This is the Republican Party. She said in a televised debate that she would not have certified the election had she been Secretary of State, despite it being a requirement to do so absent a court order. These people do not believe in democratic norms, folks. These people do not believe in any type of democratic norms. They don't believe in democracy. They don't care. How long must we go through this? As long as Republicans win. As long as Republicans win elections. Expect more. Where Cyber Ninja's audit found even more votes for Biden than the official tally? Yeah, that one. that one, Bob Dragon. That was a good meme. That one. Their counts, their recounts, their audits, their independent Cyber Ninja audit. Yeah. Oof. Two other Republican where are we going? And I would be breaking the law at that point, and that would have been fine. See? They don't give a shit about law and order. They don't give a shit about democratic norms. The other two Republican candidates are State Senator Michelle Ugenti-Rita, who acknowledged Biden's victory and has made election reform a key focus during her 12 years in the legislature, and Bo Lane, a businessman and political newcomer who has earned the endorsement of the Republican Governor Doug Ducey. And yeah, anytime these Republicans talk about, quote, election reform or election integrity, if it's not to make it easier to vote, if it's not to make voting more accessible to more people who are eligible to vote, who are citizens, ask them what is the evidence supporting the claim that would require election reform. Like, well, what's the problem? Where's the evidence to back up the necessity for election reform? Of course, they don't have any. But they keep bitching when they lose, so we should just let them win. True. That's right. That's the solution. Accelerationist. Accelerate this thing into full on fascist train. Let's go. Choo choo. Ugenti-Rita said none of the other candidates has her understanding of election law, and that she believes she has broad support across the state. They immediately recognize my record and experience, and they feel assured that I can get the job done, and that's the message. That's what people want. They're done with platitudes. It gets policy nowhere. Lane and his executive experience makes him the best choice for the job. He noted his long engagement with Republican politics back to when as a young man, he was a page at the 1980 Republican convention in which Ronald Reagan was nominated for president. That's right. Oh. Lane said his, executive experience. Yep. Above all, we need somebody who can be a fair dealer and help restore faith in elections. Well, the Republican Party poo-pooed all over that. Okay? The Republican Party poo-pooed all over that. That's a you problem. You did that. Because at the end of the day, they do not give a shit about democratic norms at all. Lane said that other than a few hiccups and isolated cases of voter fraud, the 2020 election was well run. Although he joined the other Republicans criticizing the Democratic Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, who is seeking her party's nomination for governor. Was there organized rigged fraud to change the outcome? I have seen no evidence of that. Yeah, but they still play. They dance around. No, these people, you know, they're just incompatible with democracy. Period. Was there organized rigged fraud to change the outcome? I have seen no evidence of that. Yeah, because there was none. 2 Democrats are seeking the primary's party's nomination. Former Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes, who lost his seat in the 2020 election, the Arizona House Minority Leader Reginald Boulding, both criticized Fincham and other Republicans who questioned the 2020 election's results and say Fincham victory would be dangerous for democracy. 100%. 100%. In Kansas, Secretary of State Scott Schwab is also facing a challenge from his right in the state's GOP primary. Schwab is a former Kansas House member who has defended the use of ballot drop boxes, which Trump and other Republicans say are prone to misuse, even though there's no widespread of evidence of that. Of course, because the Republican way is just to make up crap and not support it. He has dismissed baseless theories about fraud and at least as a possibility in Kansas elections. There were concerns that people had in other states, and some folks want to have that concern in Kansas, but they're just rumors. I heard this in Georgia. I heard this in Arizona. I heard. But no evidence. Schwab's primary opponent is Mike Brown, a construction contractor and former county commissioner in Johnson County, the state's most populous home to Kansas City area suburbs. Brown has made doubts about security of Kansas elections central to his campaign. He's promised to ban ballot drop boxes and says he will use the Secretary of State's office to pursue election fraud cases rather than taking Schwab's approach of working through prosecutors. Right, because they don't care about the process at all. Brown said that when Schwab says Kansas elections ran smoothly with no significant problems, the question is, because he said so, or is it because he can prove it? You're making the claims that there's something wrong with the process of our elections, or in this case, the Kansas elections. You have to provide evidence that there's a problem. That's how this works. Okay? His answer is, there's nothing to see here. You should start looking and you should stop moving. Washington State's 2 primary features Democratic Secretary of State Steve Hobbs, who was appointed by Governor Jay Inslee last November in hopes to retain his seat for the remaining 2 years of former Republican Secretary of State Kim Wyman's 4th-year term. He's the first Democrat to hold office since 1965, taking Wyman's seat after she left for an election security job in the Biden administration. Hobbs faced several Republican and unaffiliated challengers, including Tamborine Borelli, an American First candidate, so probably fascist, who was fined by the state Supreme Court in June for making legally meritless claims alleging widespread voter fraud. Nice. Hobbs has raised the most among the candidates for the race so far, followed by Pierce County Auditor Julie Anderson, who's running as a nonpartisan, said she's the most experienced in running elections. Among the Republicans in the race, former Senator Mark Melosia, he is now head of Conservative Family Policy Institute. He raised the most money. Republican Senator Keith Wagner trails Melosia in money, but has been endorsed by former Republican Secretary of State Sam Reed. Hobbs has pointed to his experience as a Washington National Guard lieutenant. Does that have to do with elections? And his months running to office say why he's best positioned to address issues ranging from cybersecurity concerns to election misinformation. Henderson said she's running as a nonpartisan because of hyperpolarization around the country, saying that we don't need political parties, and the Secretary of State calling malls and strikes at home plate. Well, these are political positions. And I don't understand what the hyperpolarization. It is one side is completely divorced and removed from reality, and one side is not on this issue. That's it. That's it. It's literally that. It is not there. There is no hyperpolarization here. You either believe what happened, or you live in an alternate reality when it comes to the election. That's it. The only hyperpolarization is coming from the Republicans. Under Washington's primary system, the top two vote getters advanced it. Yes, this is a ranked choice voting. Regardless of party, results will take days to tally because it's an all-male election. The TLDRs, this is the plan, folks. It's not something conspiratorial or made up. Steve Bannon talked about this in his podcast several times. I believe someone else made a note of this plan too, where Republicans would gain control of positions that are, on the state, county levels, like Secretary of State, which are incredibly important and incredibly powerful, to essentially say, we don't like the democratic system. We don't like the elections, the whole election concept. That shouldn't be a thing. We need to control that. For the umpteenth time, the Republican Party is incompatible with democracy. Okay? These are not isolated incidents. These are not a fringe element of the party. This is the Republican Party. How long do we have to keep dealing through this? As long as they keep winning elections, this stuff is going to continue. I'm just saying. True. Yeah, where's the lie? I think that I've made my argument abundantly clear, and I've demonstrated time and time again that the Republican Party is just incompatible with democracy, and I'll keep saying it because it's true. Okay? It's true. Listen, the Democratic Party sucks. Okay? There are a myriad of problems with the Democratic Party, and I could sit here all day and talk about why the Democratic Party has failed. But at the end of the day, all right, folks. Switching gears for just a bit before we get back into it. Sometimes you remind me of a preacher, but you don't waste our time with religion and talk about real issues. That's very interesting. I've never actually heard that before. What makes you think that? I'm genuinely curious. That's interesting. Switching gears really quick. People who want to visit the world's tallest living tree now risk a $5,000 fine and I believe possibly 6 months in jail. Hyperion is considered the world's tallest living tree, but if no one is allowed to see it, is it still the tallest? Yes. Yes. So, because people have literally and figuratively poo-pooed on the national park, they have now been forced to close off the area leading to the world's biggest tree. Or sorry, is it the world's or the world's tallest living tree? Because people literally have poo-pooed around the area and have destroyed it. Yeah. Holy Spirit, activate. Yeah, that's how I do it. Hear ye, hear ye. Raised in a church, but just the way you deliver the news is like the ones who were in earnest telling us to repent. That's right. I'm telling all of you guys to repent. Okay? For I have declared in the name of Jesus Christ. Okay, I can't do that bit. That's too much. Hyperion is located in a closed area, meaning there's no formal trail to reach the site. Still, over years, many tree enthusiasts has pursued the trek, trampling and damaging the habitat leading to Hyperion. Jesus. As a visitor, you must decide whether if you'll be part of the preservation of this unique landscape or will you be part of its destruction. Hyperion, which is a coast redwood, towers at 380 feet. For reference, that's 1.25 times bigger than the Statue of Liberty. Jeez. That is wild. And of course, humans have, messed with that. Of course. Of course. Named after one of the titans in Greek mythology, Hyperion was discovered by two researchers in 2006. The park is home to several of the world's tallest known trees, including Helios and Icarus, which are 377 and 371 feet tall, respectively. More of a youth pastor, I suppose, anyways. I guess. Forest grows by the inch and die by the foot. A single visitor can make a drastic negative change to the environment. Yeah. Hyperion may be a record holder, but the statement argues it doesn't match the hype, and trying to see it isn't worth the penalty. And also, stop messing stuff up. The tree is tall, but its height is difficult to observe from the ground, and its trunk isn't impressive either. Hyperion's trunk is small in comparison to many old-growth redwood trees. There are hundreds of trees on designated trails that are more impressive to view from the tree's base. Yeah, there you go. Quit messing with this. Alright, folks. First, January 6th insurrectionist convicted at a trial, sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. Meh. Guy Reffitt, an associate of the far-right 3%ers militia, was sentenced on Monday to 87 months or more than 7 years in federal prison for participating in the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, the longest prison term handed down thus far in connection with the violent insurrection. Oh well. In March, a jury found Reffitt, a former oil industry worker from Wiley, Texas, guilty of 5 felony counts, including obstruction of Congress, interfering with police, and transporting of firearms to Washington, D.C. for a riot and threatening his teenage son upon returning to Texas. Reffitt was the first January 6th defendant to be convicted at trial. Yeah, so to the clowns that are saying, like, oh, there was no weapons there. Really? Interesting. Last month, prosecutors asked U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich to sentence Reffitt to 15 years in prison, which, should have been more. More than the 9 to 11 years recommended under federal sentencing guidelines, and about 3 times as long as the longest sentence handed down in a January 6th case. The sentencing request also marked the first time a federal prosecutor sought to apply a terrorism enhancement for a convicted January 6th rioter or insurrectionist. I mean, yeah, I would say that this fits the definition of terrorist, right? In my opinion. The definition of terrorism is the unlawful use of violence, yeah. Intimidation, yeah. Especially against civilians. He threatened his son in pursuit of political aims, because this was all related to the whole January 6th thing, which is absolutely political. Yeah. The act of being there with a weapon and assaulting police officers and threatening. Yeah, this guy's, I mean, the definition fits. Defense attorney had asked Clinton Broughton had asked the judge to sentence his client to just 2 years. Yeah, arguing in a court filing that Reffitt did not commit any violence and has no criminal history. Before Monday's sentence hearing, the defense submitted letters to the court from a variety of Reffitt's friends, relatives, including his 18-year-old daughter Peyton. The letters, Broughton described a depressed man who believed he was unable to adequately provide for his family, his life's mission, and a man who felt cast aside and marginalized. What? Okay, sure. Though Reffitt did not actually enter the Capitol, so he didn't actually enter. Attorney Jeffrey Nestler and Risa Bauer sought to portray him as a key instigator in the attack, arguing at a trial that Reffitt, armed with a handgun... Oh, is this Zip Tie Man? Is this the infamous Zip Tie Man? No, that's another guy, right? Yeah, he had a handgun, body armor, and zip ties. Well, what do you think that was for? Oh yeah, the judge didn't enhance his to a domestic terrorism charge with the excuse it would be unfair to since other insurrectionists didn't get a domestic terrorist charge. Well, has these insurrectionists have appeared to the Capitol armed with a handgun? This is the first one that I've seen that we know for sure had a firearm on them. I know that the Oath Keepers or Oath Keepers or 3%ers, one of those two far-right militias, had weapons caches. Had literal weapons caches and plans for what they called rapid defense response forces, or whatever the guy was the leader, whatever the guy's name was, the leader of the one of those militias, had literal weapons caches in other states that were easily close by for rapid deployment teams or rapid response teams or whatever you called them. How is that an excuse? You're gonna let him off the hook because other people got off the hook? Correct. Yeah, this guy is definitely wow. Arguing at the trial that Refit, armed with a handgun, body armor, and zip ties, so there was multiple zip tie men, I guess, had cleared the way for the others to breach the building by positioning himself at the front of the angry mob and facing off with Capitol Police. Refit sought not just to stop Congress, but also to physically attack, remove, and replace legislators who were serving in Congress. Yeah, and what do you think he brought the handgun for? I mean, well, he brought handguns and body armor. What? Hello? Nestler and Berkra wrote in their 58-page sentencing memo, his conduct, they argued, is a quintessential example of an intent to both influence and retaliate against government conduct through intimidation or coercion, which is the definition of a federal crime of terrorism and is subject to harsher penalties. Frederick, however, denied the government's request for a terrorism enhancement to Refit's sentence, saying that such a move would result in unwarranted sentencing disparity. This is what Bub Dragon was talking about. With other January 6th cases, don't give a shit. There are lots of cases where defendants possessed weapons, and committed very violent assaults. So, okay, and why didn't you slap the terrorism charge on them? Frederick said Monday, pointing out that the most severe sentence have been handed down in relation to January 6 so far was 63 months, or just over 5 years, for defendants convicted of assaulting police officers. Were those folks also carrying firearms with body armor and zip ties? The government is asking for a sentence that is 3 times as long as any defendant, and the defendant did not assault an officer. Don't care. Don't care. The definition of terrorist also applies to concerned parents threatening to the lives of school. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's literally in the definition. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of a political aim. Yep, that 100% applies, Maple Leaf Dragon. How are they even allowed to bring up other cases going on simultaneously? No clue. I mean, that's how it should work, right? Everyone's case is separate. Refit, who has been detained since he was arrested in January 2021, addressed the court before receiving his sentence, saying, I did want to definitely make an apology, multiple apologies really, and accept my responsibility because I do hate what I did. What about your son? What about your son you threatened? Yeah, what about everything you've said since you've been in jail? Yeah. Refit is one of more than 850 people who have been charged so far in connection with the January 6th insurrection, which resulted in 5 deaths, left more than 150 police officers injured, and disrupted the joint session of Congress that had convened to certify the electoral count in the 2020 presidential election. More than 200 January 6 defendants have already pleaded guilty to a variety of mostly misdemeanor charges, while roughly 330 are still awaiting trial on felony charges. In addition, Refit, 8 others have been convicted at trial so far. Refit was charged with 4 counts related to his activities of January 6, obstructing an official proceeding, interfering with law enforcement during a civil disorder, transporting firearms to D.C. for a civil disorder, and being unlawfully present on Capitol grounds while armed with a firearm. Prosecutors also charged him with obstruction of justice based on threats he allegedly made to his teenage son and daughter. What? Jesus. Upon returning to his Texas home from Washington, telling them to choose a side or die. That's a no-no. And that they would be traitors if they reported him to law enforcement. He pleaded not guilty to all 5 charges. Yep. Among the witnesses called to testify against Reffitt at trial included a former member of the Texas Three Percenters who said he drove with Reffitt from Texas to Washington with their rifles and handguns in tow. Oh shoot, they had rifles too? Jesus. Yep, this dude's a terrorist. Oh, what? How could the judge not, see that? This dude's a terrorist. All those people who came there with the explicit intent of deploying violence. I mean, what else would you need? A rifle, a handgun, armor, and zip ties other than to do violence? These are all terrorists. And Reffitt's 19-year-old son, Jackson, who described his father's radicalization from moderate conservative to far-right extreme militia member in months leading up to the insurrection. Prosecutors also played several clips of Reffitt's own video footage on January 6, which had been shot from a 360-degree camera attached to the front of his helmet and recovered from an external hard drive the FBI seized during a search of his house. In one of the self-recorded videos apparently taken at President Trump's Stop the Steal rally at the Ellipse, a voice that prosecutors said was Reffitt's could be heard saying he was planning to go to that he planned to go to the Capitol before the day is over. I just want to see how Speaker Pelosi's head hit every. Oh yeah, it's this guy. I remember this guy. Effing stare on the way out, and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell too. I'm packing heat, and I'm gonna get more heat. So this is obvious reference to the handgun that he was carrying, and in this previous section over here, they had rifles. Yeah, this guy's a terrorist. This guy's a terrorist. Yes. Those comments echoed the messages that prosecutors said Reffitt sent involving his plans for January 6th in a family text chain. What? Why would you text? Wow. And to a Texas 3%er Telegram chat where he went by the username Call to Arms. In a conversation secretly recorded by his son, Nice, based. After he returned from Washington, Reffitt could be heard bragging to his family about bringing a gun to the Capitol. Jackson said his father's anti-government rhetoric took a more explicit tone in the weeks after the 2020 presidential election, prompting him to report his concerns to the FBI on Christmas Eve 2020, based. However, Jackson said he didn't get a response until 2 weeks later on January 6th. The younger Reffitt ultimately met with an FBI agent days after the riot, following a heated conversation in which Jackson said that his dad threatened to shoot him and his sister if they reported him to the authorities. Reffitt did not testify or present any defense during his criminal trial. His attempt at an apology Monday was a stark contrast from previous statements he made from jail, in which he denied wrongdoing and expressed no remorse from his actions. Yeah, just to be clear, this person is probably this person probably does not give a flying fuck. This person probably actually believes this. But when finally the sentencing was, finally when the guilty verdict was handed down, oh, I'm so sorry. Nah, bullshit. F this guy. Yeah, the Second Amendment allows you to own and carry weapons within reason. Threatening and shooting others are terrorist acts and felonies. Yes, specifically for your political aims or goals or beliefs. Yeah, this guy's a terrorist, 100%. Asked whether he agreed that he violated the law with respects to 5 counts against him, he told the judge, I effed up. No, you didn't F up, dude. You didn't just F up. This wasn't an oopsies, my dude. This isn't just an oopsies. Okay? This is you engaging in terrorist acts. This is not a, I clearly effed up, oopsies. No. And you threatened your own kids, dude. You threatened the lives of your own children. His case is not unique either. The writers got within doors of the Vice President Mike Pence's office. See how in this 3D... Oh, okay, whatever. Jesus. Wow. Cool. All he had to say for himself was, "I'm sorry and I clearly effed up." Which, by the way, is not a response to, do you agree that you broke the law, that you violated the law with respect to 5 counts? That's not an answer. Clearly I effed up is not an answer to the question, do you believe you violated the law with respect to these 5 counts? The answer to that question is yes or no. And clearly saying I effed up, it's not really a yes. Not really. Not really. Not really. Anyways, F this terrorist. Let's go to our favorite friends. Yeah? Koch network pressures Senator and President currently Joe Manchin and Madam President Kirsten Sinema to oppose a $739 billion tax and spending bill. Yay. The political network, backed by billionaire Charles Koch, launched an ad blitz targeting Senator Manchin, and current President and Madam President Kirsten Sinema to get the moderate Dems, the conservative Dems, to block a massive spending and tax package that's advancing in the Senate. The bill, known as the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, promises to raise $739 billion in new revenue, mostly by setting a minimum corporate tax rate. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. And making changes to Medicare drug pricing to help pay for the $433 billion in climate and health initiatives. Oof. The legislation is a pared-down version of President Biden's Build Back Better plan, which failed earlier this year after Manchin and Sinema opposed key elements of the bill. The legislation has a renewed chance of passing. No, if something like this passes, it will be nowhere near what needs to be done. At best, you can maybe say that some of it might be good, but the reality is what we are told and what we're getting are two enormously different things, like night and day. Okay? Pared down is a really big understatement, so to speak. The legislation has a renewed chance of passing after Manchin reached a deal last week on a smaller tax and spending package with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. It represents one of the most important pieces of legislation for Democrats as they fight to hold on to the Senate in November. Midterms just 100 days away. Tick-tock, folks. Manchin and Sinema, who are both up for re-election in 2024, represent key votes in the Senate with the chamber split 50-50. Americans for Prosperity, which is a part of the larger Koch network, launched 2 ads on Saturday on its Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube page. The ad specifically calls out the 2 senators, encouraging them to oppose legislation. Senator Manchin can stop it. Say no for West Virginia. The Sinema ad has almost an identical look, stating that Senator Sinema can stop it. Come on, Kirsten, say no for Arizona. Each ad calls the bill a $739 billion tax hike for corporations that will raise prices, not true, and make American energy more expensive. I don't know what that means. Do you mean American energy, conflating the whole energy and electricity? The whole conflating the idea that fossil fuels and energy, they want you to think that these two are synonymous and attachable, right? Like fossil fuel company propaganda, like the fossil fuel industry propaganda wants you to make sure that the only thing that goes through your mind when you think of the word energy is fossil fuels. And when you think of fossil fuels, you think of energy. That's what they want you to think at all times. The Koch-backed, which obviously fossil fuel baron, billionaire, on their media platforms linked to an online message portal from which supporters can call on lawmakers to oppose the legislation. Facebook's ad archive shows the spots were playing in Mansion and Cinema's respective state of West Virginia and Arizona, as well as in Washington, D.C. Bill Riggs, a spokesperson for American Prosperity, told CNBC in an email on Monday that the ad campaign targeting the reconciliation bill is a six-figure buy on digital platforms and connected TV. Wow. Cool, dude. He said the group is planning to expand this week to call out Democrats Raphael Warnock and Catherine Cortez Masto and Maggie Hassan. All three are up for re-election in states that are expected to be competitive. The Stand Together Chamber of Commerce, which was founded by Charles Koch, contributed $40 million to Americans for Prosperity in 2020. According to the group's latest financial disclosure, Koch is also the CEO of a massive conglomerate known as Koch Industries, which owns multiple energy subsidiaries. Manchin has said this bill isn't a spending package and doesn't rate taxes, but instead is more focused on investing money. Yes, that's what... Okay. Cinema has yet to publicly comment on the bill. Representatives from Manchin and Cinema did not return requests for comment. Yeah. Here's a notable factoid, I guess. Corporations and their executives have also poured money into Manchin and Cinema's re-election campaigns. Because, money in politics doesn't do anything. Manchin's campaign raised over $1 million over the past 3 months, which included contributions from several energy companies, including Corterra Energy, NextEra Energy, and Excel Energy. You couldn't make this up even if I tried. Yella King with a tier 1 sub on a 20-month streak. My friend, 4 more months, and you're gonna 3 more months. You're gonna be right up to the right up to Chai Bureaucrat's level. And according to Chai Bureaucrat, 1 more month gets you a 1v1 against me. Cinema's now accepting bids on her vote. Yeah, apparently. The Federal Election Commission records show Cinema's campaign also received donations, coincidentally, from chemical company Dow, pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly, and telecom behemoth Verizon, among other corporations over the same time frame. Nice! Nice. Cool. Explain to me again how money in politics doesn't affect anything. I've unironically heard this argument where people think that, oh, well, money in politics is not really that influential. I've unironically heard this argument. Yeah. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for the support, Yella King. I appreciate that. It's just unfathomable to me that as we face what could arguably in my opinion, without a doubt, it'd be one of the most challenging crises that we've faced. It's just unfathomable just how much greed will get in the way of doing the right thing. Instead of, if you're some type of multi-billionaire, instead of using that to turn this around, a problem specifically someone like Koch's Industries have caused, or at least have a hand in causing this problem, in this crisis. No introspection whatsoever. Instead, they would rather buy off senators. They would rather pay them millions of dollars to their campaign contributions. They would rather pressure senators to block any inkling of resolve to try to fix this, so that they can continue to make more profit. So that they continue to make more profit. That's the unfathomable aspect of this whole thing. They are literally willing to destroy this entire they're willing to put us in such a precarious situation just for the sake of profit. I mean, like, if what is, if not the definition of greed? I was unironically hearing this from someone a minute ago. Really? And who would be so silly to make that argument? I really I appreciate you and your work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That means a lot, Yellow King. That means a lot. Oh, they got some Twitter action from it. Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, I mean, well, if there's anything to be learned here, is the Democrats are lost in space. They're lost in the sauce. No real attempt to resolve this issue whatsoever. They need to either get these two to play ball, or start primarying them, or do whatever they have to do, because clearly the Republicans have no problem, no shame, no problem. Mitch McConnell will literally cut funding, will literally primary you if you don't play ball. Mitch McConnell has none of these problems. Mitch McConnell does not care what the parliamentarian has to say. Mitch McConnell will literally carve out exceptions to the filibuster if it means he gets what he wants. So, where is the opposition party here? Where are the Democrats? Hello? Midterms are 100 days away, folks. Unbelievable. And Later Slot is awesome, by the way. Thank you. And thank you for hanging, Zio Duke. I appreciate that. Good to catch you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, folks. If you live in Kansas, pay attention. If you live in Kansas, pay attention. value them both. Amendment on Tuesday ballot does not ban abortion, but it clears a path for the legislature to do so. Abortion is currently legal in the state up to 22 weeks, though there are several restrictions on clinics and patients, particularly to minors, seeking the procedure. But the state Supreme Court ruled in 2019 that the state's constitution language about bodily autonomy extends to abortion rights. Damn. Imagine having bodily autonomy as a piece of your constitution. What a concept. Imagine. Meaning Kansas can't join. Damn. Whoever was the genius behind constructing this here, we need to take a lesson from that. To put bodily autonomy in the state constitution's language is absolutely pure genius, okay? Because at the end of the day, that's the argument, right? I've said this 1,000 times. That's the argument. The argument fundamentally is whether or not you believe in bodily autonomy, yes or no. That's it. Just at the core of it, right? That's the whole pro-choice versus pro-forced birth, right? That's the two sides here. One believes in bodily autonomy, and one does not, fundamentally. Meaning Kansas can't join the red states surrounding it that have near total bans on the procedure unless anti-abortion forces win at the ballot box. Pay attention, folks. This is where it matters. I wonder how long the state Supreme Court appointments are. I have no idea. I'm going to assume it's like, depending on the state, right? Well, let's take Kansas. Newly appointed justices serve for at least 1 year, in which they must stand for retention in the next even year general election. If retained, the justice serves a 6-year term and then must stand for retention every 6 years after that point in order to remain in office. So I don't have necessarily they don't have like limits necessarily. They have to keep winning, I guess. They have to keep winning incumbency, right? They have to keep winning their election. Had me at till ballot box. Wait, what? What does that mean? They're also elected by the public, so that's a thing. Yep. Wait, depends on the state, I believe, because Kansas said it was appointed, unless by appointing meaning that you voted to appoint them as a voter. I'm not sure. Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America, spending $1.3 million to air ads, send mailers, fly-in, and house about 300 volunteers who have knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors since May. Altogether, according to the campaign finance disclosure, anti-abortion right groups have raised nearly $4.7 million. Much of it from the Catholic Church, of course. Crackle Bearer? Is that a play on words with Cracker Barrel, like the restaurant? That seems weird. I'm not saying don't vote, but mutual aid and direct action always achieves more. It's possible more frequently and applies more pressure. I mean, yes, but this is part of it, right? Like, we agree that if this is on the ballot, you're going to get out there and do it, right? Like, if this is on the ballot and you have the ability to do this, you're going to get out there and do it, right? I mean, 5 seconds. You walk in, you check your little mark, you turn in your ballot, and you're done. Or, you plan ahead, do what you gotta do, so that it is as convenient as possible. Check your local state. If you can, even mail it in. Who cares? Right? Save the line. Kansas for Constitutional Freedom, an umbrella group fighting against the amendment, has raised more than $6.5 million, with the bulk coming from Planned Parenthood and other abortion rights groups. Nice! It's not that I don't believe in mutual aid and direct action. I'm saying if you're presented with this here, right, with this choice here, I would hope that you would, participate, right? These things are not mutually exclusive. You don't have to choose between one or the other, right? Both are needed. These are parallel to each other. Yeah, but this isn't about a Democrat putting something... This is a ballot initiative, right? This is a ballot initiative. You're not voting for a person. Do you want the... do you want, in your state constitution, basically, to pave away the language, to pave away the path for the legislator to take away the right to bodily autonomy? Do you want that? Yes or no? That's what's on the ballot. It's not vote for this person. Like, these are ballot initiatives. Does that make sense? So that's kind of not really true. Things are on the ballot. They're not just people. You have to vote for initiatives too. You know that, right? I could not imagine prosecuting a rape victim or asking a victim to carry their attacker's child. Chris Mann, the Democrat running for Kansas Attorney General, told Politico on Monday, "I couldn't imagine asking an abuse victim to carry that abuser's child, but those are truly unfathomable things that could very well happen if this amendment passes." Correct. Never mind, if he's a Democrat or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is an amendment. This is a constitutional amendment. This is a ballot initiative. Kansas is one of the only states in the region where abortion remains legal and has become a destination for patients from states that have implemented near total bans, particularly Texas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Because some absolute 400D chess move, I don't know if it's like at the start of Kansas Constitution or an amendment, that was added later, but in the Kansas Constitution, people have a right to bodily autonomy. Maybe that should be a federal thing, Just saying. I came halfway through. I thought we were just talking about voting in general. Voting in general, if you have the option to do so, you should, right? If you can, you should. It's like... My argument is, if it's a tool that can be used, do not leave it on the table, because you know what? The conservatives are using it. If you don't use it, the conservatives will and have. And we all know what happens when they win, right? They often publish key promises, don't they? And yeah, if they don't deliver, then don't let them stay in office. Yeah, it's just setting your expectations, Zeoduke, right? It's just setting up your expectations, that are within the realm of reality. Do not expect that just because a Democrat won office that everything is peachy, right? Do not expect that just because they have a D next to their name that they're automatically good, right? Let's just have that realistic expectation, right? Do not think that a political party is coming here to save you, or a single political person is coming here to save you. A political official is coming here to save you. No. But But you still have choices to make, yeah? And if it's a tool that's there, you shouldn't leave it to the conservatives. Conservatives only regress. I would argue worse now, Spaceman. I would argue that conservatism here is at the point where it is incompatible with democracy. They're actively threatening. This is not hyperbole. This is not hyperbole or out of pocket. They're actively threatening to implement a theocratic authoritarian state. I don't understand. It's either go backwards, stop going backwards, or never and never going forward. Yeah, I get that, and it's super frustrating. 100% agree. 100%. You're exactly correct. The point is to stop the bleeding. Okay, is to stop the authoritarian state, the theocratic authoritarianism that is creeping and is gaining steam and is going complete full steam ahead. Yeah, that would be the goal. Is to stop that. I would rather end up in a scenario where I would have to, have elections against Democrats, right? That would be the ideal scenarios where we're doing campaigns against the Democratic Party, right? Also have Andrew Yang. So that's not what I'm saying. No, I know what you're saying. And Spaceman, don't worry. I've seen and listened and heard. No, I that's not what I thought. What is that meme? Not left, not right, but forward. Oh God, cringe. Kansas providers told Politico the influx of out-of-state patients has increased wait times by multiple weeks, and that it's been difficult to recruit more doctors and meet demand given the state's history of violence against abortion providers, i.e. terrorist attacks. Doctors in the state fear that losing access to the procedure in Kansas as well will force patients to travel even farther, putting abortion out of reach for those who can't afford to do so, which is the whole goal. At the end of the day, these people do not believe in the right to bodily autonomy. So here we are. Joe Biden is due to speak live in 3 minutes. This is probably about Al Qaeda. They did something regarding that. I think, what was it? A drone strike? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's something that we will watch. I'm sure that it has to do with that. Let me actually find the story before I start talking smack. Yeah, okay. So, live updates. U.S. drone strike said to have... Oh my god, it's behind a paywall. It's behind the paywall. Top Al-Qaeda leader Ayman Zawahiri said to have been drone striked into oblivion. There we go. That's my headline. Wait, are you on the set of Majority Report right now? Yes. That's right. They droned Ayman al-Zawahiri into the next dimension, I'm sure. Abortion is murder. Can you substantiate that claim? Wait, actually, here. I have a question. What is murder? What is the definition of murder? Yeah, it's probably on C-SPAN, YouTube, I'm not sure. But I'm sure that It's gonna have to do with this. Ayman al-Zawahiri things.
There are a lot of places to get.
No, I want this guy to answer it. Cosmic Seeking. They made a claim that abortion is murder. What is the definition of murder? Jesus Christ. No? No answer? Damn it, Bub Dragon. No? Damn. Okay. I guess simple questions can't even answer a simple question. Sad. No, that was pretty funny. What? This started at 7:30? Yeah, so this is exactly what I thought. This is exactly what I thought. Cosmic Seeking. This is going to be on the counterterrorism operations where this dude got droned into oblivion. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about that other than that's what happened. Everything's sodomy laws prohibit. True. True. There's only one way, okay? Everything else is an affront to God. To the Lord Jesus Christ himself, okay? Just to be clear, Spaceman, no, I'm not actually on this set of Majority Report, okay? I may or may not have stolen some ideas. This may or may not have allegedly happened. but I will continue to hold my ground and say that Sam Cedar stole it from me. Anyways, folks, if you live in the state of Kansas, pay attention because this is on the ballot. This is literally on the ballot, and you should pay attention to this, okay? Because it is just wild to me that Kansas, out of all the states, actually has bodily autonomy as part of its state constitution, something that is just some 3,000 head chess move, 3,000D chess move over here that is actually preventing Republicans, conservatives, from enacting abortion bans, which are obviously against bodily autonomy. Hail Satan, true. How's it going, Hail the Beast? Echo Resto Dragon, $27. Nice. I didn't know he had that emote. It's going well. Great to see you on late. Yeah, I'm on the evening schedule as well, work. Folks, if you have 5 seconds, please consider supporting twitch.tv/HildaBeast. Arguably one of the hardest working mods out there. Go show some love, yeah? Do the follows and the things. You know what to do. Cheers. Damn, really? No answer to the question, what is murder? What is the definition of murder? Is that how easy it is for these people to fold? You just ask them a simple question? Jeez. Sad. All right, folks. I'm going to do a real quick last-minute show before we do our last topics here. Folks, if you have a second, consider going to our YouTube channel, hitting the subscribe button. It really does help us out. Consider hitting the follow button. It does help us out. You get 5 free emotes, including Bakita the cat. And if you guys want to keep up with whatever happens on this channel, I usually make a lot of announcements of what's upcoming on the Discord, and I post all the articles and stuff like that that I go through on the Discord if you want to join that and keep up with the channel. August 3rd, folks, that's Wednesday, August 3rd, we will have the Beckosphere on to do a collaboration. She does fantastic work on the Climate Corner podcast and the Beckosphere channel as well on the YouTubes. So we will have her on as well. August 3rd, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, so stay tuned for that. If anything, I will make any announcements on the Discord. They said thanks for the mic. Yeah. Okay, so fun fact. I guess we'll do some lore. Fun fact, the microphone that the Beckosphere has used, I'm assuming recently, if you heard that from her, Duke, is actually one of mine. I sent it to her because she was looking for a mic, and I had an extra mic, and so it was easy peasy. Easy peasy. That's pretty cool. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Actually, you know, I'm interested because we got to go through this anyways. We got to go through this anyways. Sharing is caring. Yes, especially like sharing is definitely caring. Absolutely, especially if you can. Oh man, I forget. Bow of the fifth column. Those with the means have a responsibility to act if you have the ability. Especially if you have the ability. Heck yeah. You do what you can with the tools that you have. Alright? That's the whole point. You do what you can with the tools that you have, and you do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. Alright, let's check it out. Let's see.
Have the Irish government and farmers agreed on an emissions target? And is Texas properly conducting environmental assessments for road expansions?
No.
Welcome to the climate recap from the
I'm take a educated guess and say that no, they're not considering environmental impacts at all in Texas. I don't think so. Maybe, who knows? I'll be surprised.
Your Climate Corner, your go-to place for international and US-based climate news. I'm Becky Hogue, a science writer. Today is Monday, August 1st. Let's jump right into the news you need to start your day. Let's start with some extreme weather events. Climate change made the UK heatwave 10 times more likely, according to a World Weather Attribution Rapid Analysis.
Damn.
The UK hit a record 104.5 degrees Fahrenheit or 40.3 degrees Celsius on July 19th and is heading into a drought this month.
Jesus. So not only are you guys having record temperatures, this one's for you, Cosmic Seeking. Not only are you guys having record temperatures that are being broken, but you guys are about to head into a drought, which I assume exacerbates the problem. Jesus.
Scientists determine climate change's impact on the heatwave by analyzing weather data and computer simulations with the climate of today versus the climate of the past. Historical weather data would have put this heatwave 4 degrees Celsius cooler than it ended up being with human impact. All of these studies are peer-reviewed. Overall, extreme heat in Europe is getting worse and more common faster than expected.
Cool. Yay.
A little while ago, I reported on how Seville, Spain became the first city to start naming heat waves. I was wondering about it the other day if they had named any because we all know Spain's been through heat waves, but I guess none have been severe enough to get a name. Heat waves are put into 3 categories and only the most severe get names. But they've officially named the first one, Zoe, according to the heat wave ranking system Prometeo Sevilla. They name heat waves in reverse alphabetical order. The system decides on the category ranking based on not only the highest temperatures, but also nighttime lows, humidity levels, and the heat.
I would say start naming them after fossil fuel. I know this is a meme, but like, unironically, start naming them after fossil fuel companies. Yeah, we have the drought. Yikes. CGJ, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Howdy, howdy.
Heat's effect on human health. Meanwhile, the northernmost part of the U.S. had its wettest day on record last Tuesday. Utqiagvik, Alaska, formerly known as Barrow, saw 1.42 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. Great gusts of wind brought the storm over to several northern parts of Alaska, including the better-known Fairbanks.
Cheers.
Time for a climate study. A new study published in the journal Nature Geoscience found that simply re-wetting global wetlands can effectively reduce how much carbon emissions they release. Wetlands have a lot of great...
Oh. Hey. What's going on over here?
Release. Wetlands have a lot of great...
Okay.
Meanwhile, the northernmost part of the U.S. had its wettest day on record last Tuesday. Utqiagvak, Alaska, formerly known as Barrow, saw 1.42 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. Great gusts of wind brought the storm over to several northern parts of Alaska, including the
Find out
better-known
why? No
Fairbanks.
clue.
Time for a climate study. A new study published in the journal Nature Geoscience found that simply re-wetting global wetlands can effectively reduce how much carbon emissions they release. Wetlands have a lot of greenhouse gases stored in them, so any strain on those ecosystems is very dangerous for the biosphere. There's still a lot scientists don't know about wetland mechanisms.
Hey, folks, we just reached follower count 1950. Nice. There was some button that said out why. No, I'm not gonna touch that. Yeah, I saw it. 1950, folks. 1950 of you have decided to hit the follow button. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wow.
But this study determined that
New milestone, folks.
keeping the wetlands neither flooded nor drained will keep stored enough CO2 to make up for the inevitable methane and nitrogen oxide emissions caused by warming. Seems like a pretty easy fix.
Let's
check out some
freaking
climate
go.
victories. Ireland officially set targets to halve greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. The hardest part of forming this deal was that agriculture is the largest emission sector, representing 38% of overall emissions. The Green Party wanted a 30% reduction by 2030, and the farmers wanted 22%, so they met in the middle with 25%. Reducing
Okay.
emissions in the agriculture sector requires reducing the meat and dairy industry's size and switching to more sustainable agriculture practices that require less chemical intervention. The government also wants to see a 70% emissions reduction in the energy sector, a 50% reduction in transport, a 40% for residential buildings, and a 35% for industries. The Climate Action Plan will require $144 billion
The year of my
or
arrival,
125
wow.
billion pounds in public and private investment. In the U.S., the Biden administration released a new initiative to expand community solar among lower-income households to bring down their energy prices amid high gas prices. The effort is being run by the Department of Energy and the Department of Health and Human Services. People can opt into off-site solar projects to earn credits that are applied to their electricity bill, hopefully
Nice.
lowering it. The initiative will also develop and test a digital platform to connect participants of the federal Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program to community solar options where they live. The program helps 5 million households pay for heating, cooling, and weathering their homes each year.
Nice.
Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New Mexico, and New York will test out the community solar initiative. Meanwhile, the Department of Energy also signed off on a $102 million loan guarantee for the Australian firm Syra Technology to expand a Louisiana plant that makes graphite-based components for electric car batteries. This is part of an ongoing effort to increase clean energy domestic production. The vast majority of electric vehicle parts come from China, and the US is not even on the map right now. The plant is expected to create enough battery anode materials to make around 2.5 million EVs by 2040. The graphite will come from the Syra mining and processing plant in Mozambique, which also supplies Tesla. Now we've got quite a few climate fails. Unfortunately, the International Energy Agency, or IEA, expects global coal demand to match a record high set in 2013. 8 billion tons in a year. Coal is in demand worldwide as gas prices are exorbitant, but coal demand was actually rising last year too as economies tried to rebound from COVID lockdowns. Coal use grew by 6% last year, and only another 0.7% this year, assuming China bounces back from its latest lockdowns. Before the pandemic, coal was dying, so it's really sad to see the most carbon-intense form of energy making a comeback.
Yeah.
European countries call this trend temporary as they speed up clean energy development. India, who's leading this trend right now, isn't moving on clean energy fast enough. Its coal consumption increased by 7% this year. China, which represents about half of the world's coal demand, actually saw its coal use decline by 3% in the first half of this year, but it's expected to trend upwards for the rest of the year. China has the
Yay.
largest clean energy supplies in the world, but its grid isn't ready to take it up yet. As the war in Ukraine continues, Shell announced it made over $12 billion or 10 billion pounds, a record profit, from
Ooh, nice. Must be nice.
April to June, while inflation was at a 40-year high. Energy costs are a primary driver of inflation. The company promises
True.
to give out almost $8 billion or 6.5 billion
Making record profits across the board. It's not just Shell either. It's not just Shell either. Making record profits across the board. And being a good factor of what drives inflation, because it turns out that, well, inflation in this situation, in this case, is being driven by our supply chains. Yes, because our supply chains are not up to snuff. And a lot of that does involve, well, unfortunately, fossil fuels. So, yes, it is true that because of this, it does drive inflation. Having people fight over your product is obviously very good business. Yeah, because, well, it's necessary. Well, they deem it, or they have made themselves so necessary. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case anymore. We don't need to.
Pounds to shareholder payout. This record beat the previous record made in January and March of this year by 23%.
Nice.
Literally profiting off of the war and struggling households.
Nice. I mean, this is standard for capitalism. Yeah. Yeah, this checks out. This checks out.
We have some more fun news. A new study by the Imperial College London determined that official reports on how much carbon has been captured and stored underground from 1996 to 2020 has been overestimated by 19 to 30%. This overreporting is due to inconsistent reporting requirements and claiming the plants capture as much as they can hold, which is not always the case. Most of these reports are done by think tanks. Reports should include intended capture rate capacity, maximum capture rate capacity, annual capture of CO2, annual transport of CO2, annual storage of CO2, quality assurance measures such as third-party auditing, and reasons for any offline periods where CCS facilities could not operate as intended. CCS is an important technology to reach our decarbonization goals due to how long we've waited to tackle this problem, but it needs to be done in the most transparent way possible so we're not accidentally cooking ourselves by relying on it. Also, it doesn't mean that we should keep using fossil fuels.
True.
We often think that the main driver facing elephants is poachers, but it might actually be climate change. Kenya officials say climate change-induced drought kills 20 times more elephants than poachers. The country has been in drought for 4 decades now, and Savo National Park is seeing elephants leave in search of food and water or die. Last year, at least 179 elephants died from thirst, while poaching claimed fewer than 10 lives. While tackling poaching is important, it's overshadowing the main driver killing elephants. Last September, Kenya's president declared a state of emergency over the drought, which has caused more than 4 million people to suffer from food insecurity and malnutrition. 2 weeks ago, the U.S. said it would provide $255 million in aid to Kenya. In South America, Brazil's environmental authority just granted the initial permit for a major highway to be paved through the heart of the Amazon rainforest. The road, called BR-319, would connect the largest Amazon city, Manaus, to the rest of Brazil. This road was originally attempted in the 70s, but the project fell into disarray. It will unintentionally make it easier for illegal loggers and land grabbers to more easily access more remote areas to carry out their business.
Wow, hell no. Our gas and electricity bill are due to have gone up 400% by the end of this year. Jeez. That should only make the argument as to going renewable. Yeah, that's exactly the answer, right?
Resulting in a 5-fold increase in deforestation by 2030, according to a study. That's equivalent to an area larger than Florida being deforested.
Wow.
Bottom line, it would be a death sentence for the forest. The Amazon is an essential carbon.
Oh man, that's so disturbing. Like, think about the ramifications of that. If the Amazon goes, like that's huge. The domino effects are probably unfathomable. The domino effects that would lead to species ecological collapse in the Amazon, it's incalculable, is what I'm trying to say. Holy yikes. Whew. Solar and wind providers are making bank too. Price of energy going up all around. Yeah, but depends, right? The price of energy being created by fossil fuels, a different story, yeah?
Sink, biodiversity hub, and regional weather controller. The current Brazil president, right-wing Bolsonaro, will compete in an election in October. Speaking of roads, Texas is determined to expand the I-35, which the Department of Transportation determined has no environmental impact despite consuming more than 2,000 acres of land with dozens of streams and creeks and
What? No environment. I knew it. I called it, all right? I didn't watch this video. I called it. Yeah, Texas taking into consideration environmental effects? No. How could you say that, like, thousands of miles or whatnot is not going to have some type of impact? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Demolishing nearly 100 homes and 63 businesses. How is this possible? Well, the department split the space into 4 to make the environmental impact look negligible, according to research by the grassroots group TXDOT. The group is suing the state's Department of Transportation for failing to conduct honest environmental analyses for approving projects. The I-35 story is just the latest in a string of highway expansions that the department has deemed to have no environmental impacts. In fact, out of 136 projects from 2015 to 2022, only 6 received full environmental assessments viewing their impact.
Wow.
This case brings up the question, should a Department of Transportation be in charge of environmental impact assessments in the first place? This matters for the
no.
climate because honestly, part of the environmental impact assessments should include potential emissions.
Yes, and yes, it should be up to like an agency like like the EPA or something, right? The equivalent for the state. Yeah. Why would if you're dealing with environmental impacts, it should be with the office or department or bureaucracy that handles environmental impacts, like the EPA or the state equivalent. I mean, this doesn't. Yeah. I don't think that the Department of Transportation should be solely involved in this, right? Russia's a major cause of the price hike in Europe. Well, yeah, in Europe, I imagine so. Yes.
Increases. Highway expansion encourages more cars on the road, which means more emissions and air pollution.
Yes.
And over 2,000 meat industry cattle died in Kansas from heat stress as the heat and humidity skyrocketed. Cattle that die from heat stress don't get used for human consumption, but they are converted into animal food, fertilizer, and other products. Unfortunately, this mass death and quick decay from the heat overwhelmed the demand, and the companies had to dump the cattle in a mass grave in a Kansas dump.
Oh my
It reportedly
God.
smells horrible, and there's risk that the waste can seep into groundwater. The meat
Jesus.
industry says it's learned to feed cows less grain, which is high energy and can make them more susceptible to heat. Hay and silage are better. But some companies, like Five Rivers, are not bothering to consider other things like adding shade because it was a, quote, rare event. Climate change is unfortunately going to make these events more and more common. Well, that was a list of not great things. Let's finish off with one more climate victory story. Centre-right conservatives in the UK started a new party called the Climate Party to challenge more than 100 seats of Tory MPs that don't support climate action in the next election. The founder is Ed Gimmel, a former army officer and city lawyer, and he signed up the party on the hottest day in UK history. 19 MPs are part of the Net Zero Scrutiny Group, whose whole point is to oppose any climate action. Climate change has a voting base, as we saw in Australia when the independent climate-focused Teal Party took a few seats in the last election. They purposely focused on seats held by climate-denying or delaying conservatives, and the Conservative Labour Party lost its majority as a result. So we'll have to keep an eye on this UK party. And that was your climate recap for Monday, August 1st. If you like the work I do, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, leave a review, and consider checking out the Beccasphere Climate Corner YouTube channel.
All right, chat, you know what to do. Go do the thing where you subscribe and support and do the cool thing. Cool the social media things. Where you go do the like and the subs and all that awesome stuff. I do think she does great work, and it is a great channel. If you want kind of like a condensed recap of what's going on with climate change, there you go. All right, folks, it's about that time. I do have to get going. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out and staying with me today. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button on your way out. We are here Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on the weekends, Sunday, noon Eastern Time. I would like to give a quick thank you to all the new follows. A quick thank you to Chai Bureaucrat with the 23 months. Thank you so much. And then Yellow King with the 20 months. That is unbelievable. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for all the new follows. Thank you to Left Flank Vets for the massive raid. Naughty Grandma for the tier 1 sub as well. Base of PJ with the raid. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Folks, do me a favor, all right? Go check out twitch.tv/base of PJ. Go check out twitch.tv/Left Flank Vets. Okay? We're usually there right after the majority report. I appreciate you guys. Alio. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. I'm reading something else. Okay. So I made sure to thank everybody. Please, if you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. The report saying the report ends saying the Conservative Labour Party lost their majority as a result, and I don't understand that. Great stream, thank you. I appreciate that. Of course. Heat 420_. Appreciate you hanging out in the chat. Do you okay, so the way that works is that in the UK they have like a parliamentary system. So often they have to do like coalitions to win the majority, and there are multiple different parties. So the Conservative Tories, the Labour Party, so on and so forth. If one of them doesn't, if the coalition breaks down or one of them loses the quote majority, that's what happens. So I'm sure there's different kinds of parties, some of which are silly, and some of which don't make sense, like Conservative Labour Party. I don't know. It's a UK thing. Cosmic, cosmic seeking. You can explain that better, but that's how that works. Great stream. Thank you, mods. Yes, Heat420_. Echo Rester Dragon, the Conservative / Labour Party majority. Seesaw, maybe? Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You got me there, Zeoduke. No clue. Nice one. Thanks again. Take care. You take care. As always, folks, please stay safe. Parliamentary system is what we have in Canada. It's beyond hope. Yeesh. Folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. That's right, stick around for the raid, alright? Hang tight. Alright, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.